Hey, Erica.
Hey, hey.
Story Awesome Warriors special on the Baltimore. Erica Wright.
I like the soundtrack. I never heard it before.
I want to welcome everyone to Restore Story Awesome Warriors. I'm Jackie H. And today, my co-host, Gail Barron, the judge, is back in Philly. So this is a special, since I was on a little vacation down in Baltimore. I have Gail's daughter, Erica. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So good to have you. I want to say this first to start off. I asked you about a month ago about coming on, and you told me you'll pray about it and get back to me. And I just want to let everybody know that was the longest prayer. You still haven't got back to me. But God told me to bring my stuff when I was coming down here to visit. I brought everything I own down here. So when I asked you this morning, well, I had everything set up. So God must have answered me to say yes. So it is so good to have it. But I've been waiting for 3 months. But anyway, Erica, it is a blessing. We have Chloe who's she's in the come to the YouTube today. That's her cat. But anyway, I want to thank you so much for all that you do and helping me. I know you probably say I helped you first, but no, but we don't count. But I'm thanking God for you. So I haven't prepped you with no questions. I know
Oh,
you like to.
Lord.
I know you like to be prepared, but this is just going to be open forum. I ain't gonna do too bad. If I do, just you right next to me. Just hit me and say that's enough, Auntie. But growing up uh, in the inner city in Philadelphia, I want you to speak a little bit on of your childhood. I know what I thought, but I'm gonna give you a chance to speak first, so I can tell the truth after you finish embellishing what you're gonna say. So, were you a good kid? Were you a good child? Or were you um, ambitious back there? Like growing up from grade school, living on Delhi Street. You know, we're not gonna talk about where you're at now. I'm just saying, at that time, who are you? Who were
Oh,
you?
at that time, I was a young girl trying to find identity. That's as far back as I can remember. I know growing up in elementary school, those are the years where you kind of come into behavior patterns and learning your personality. And so I always remember just struggling in those areas.
Mhm.
Of course, we grew up in church and we had to be in church Monday through Friday from what I remember. But I remember always in school, although I was gifted and I was placed in gifted programs, I still found insecurities in who I was as a little girl. I remember in middle school, transitioning to middle school, I was hanging out with girls in the neighborhood. I'm not sure if y'all know this, but would skip school. And there was one time one of my friends, she wanted to go have relations with with her husband, her boyfriend at the time. And mind you, we were like sixth grade, and so because I wanted her friendship, I went with her to be the lookout. And so we would do different things like that. Sneaking out of the house. But for me, it was always just trying to find myself outside of church, because that's pretty much growing up all I really knew.
Mhm.
What I do remember as far as the positive aspect about my childhood was we really we had family. Family was important to us. We had each other. I didn't feel like we were missing out in that area. Grew up living together. My mom's 3 kids, my aunt Darlene's 3 kids. I remember us always traveling together with our grandparents. Everybody eat the same food. We loved going to McDonald's with my grandfather. I was the one that would always to hide the food and wait until after everybody ate, then bring my food out.
To torture everybody because you had food left.
So I remember that aspect of it. Family was always important as we stick together. We stuck together. We did everything together. We shopped at thrift stores together. I remember my grandmother taking us to different stores and making sure that we all had the same clothes. Like it was family.
It's bonding.
It was that bonding time, and we created those memories as kids, learning the importance of family. Then, and I think for me, just outside of that, understanding who I was as a little girl, something was misplaced. And I think as I got older, I understood it. But yeah,
So I'm kind of glad your mom is not here to hear the stories that you just said about sneaking out the house because you must have sensed what we did when we came up too.
mm,
So we talked about on an early podcast of ours of knowing what steps to skip because we knew the steps that made noise and stuff. But do you realize that we knew y'all was sneaking out?
nah.
Like this is really funny because we had did it before y'all did it. We skipped school. Well, I don't know if your mother skipped classes, but I was up at Temple. That's how I knew they had a library that played records.
Oh
Because
wow.
we came up in church, we couldn't listen to R&B and all that stuff. So that's why I first learned where the library was at Temple that you could put on headphones and listen to music. While I
Mm.
was supposed to have been in history and science and all that, I was up at Temple. Now, why they let me in there? that- But we knew. You don't remember me coming around the corner on Dolphin Street and got you?
I
No?
re-
Okay. So I just wanted to let you know. I understand what y'all did, but it wasn't totally like nobody knew. But that's good because what my podcast is about is talking to people, being real about everything.
Mhm.
So your misplacement or trying to find yourself, was because of what was missing in our homes, or is it because that we were sheltered from the outside? Like we didn't have TV. Well, y'all had a little bit more than we had. We had TV. So why do you understand today why you felt that? Why did you feel that? Uh, didn't know who you were? I know you probably know today, but
Mhm.
at that time, did you know what it was?
At the time, no, I
Okay,
did
you
not
didn't
know
know.
what it was.
Okay. So fast forward to when did you get into the art of dancing and to where a change came for you to go with, I don't even know if that was your dream to do this.
No.
But yeah. So explain or tell someone what was that transition like of getting into Freedom Theater and how all of that came about for you.
I remember my mom telling me that there was a program that came to give her a job or somewhere she was,
Hmm.
and they was promoting this particular program, Freedom Theater. And so she told me about it. I was thinking with you guys at the time,
Hmm.
and so I believe, and she can quote me if I'm wrong, but I believe that because she knew as a mother what I was feeling, what I was going through with friendship and just my identity, she felt like this particular program could help.
Okay.
And so it was the summer of my middle school. I was good. I think I was going into middle school. Um, yeah, I was going into middle school. And so she enrolled me in the program. I started in their summer vocal arts program. Mind you, because again, I was thinking with you guys
At the Freedom
at the
Theater
Freedom
in
Theater.
Jordan,
Broad Broad and Master.
Master, in
Broad and
Philadelphia.
Master.
Okay.
Um, and so when I got there, it was beautiful. It was so many young black girls and boys. They were in different color leotard and tights, and they were just like live and joyful, and everybody was just really expressive and loving each other, and everybody had friendship. I'm looking around like, well, this is different in North Philadelphia, and it's in North Philadelphia, but
Mhm.
it was like a totally different world and a different experience from Ninth and Dolphin and Susquehanna, right? It was just completely different, but it was still in our city. And so I did it that summer. I loved it. I enjoyed it. And then as I enrolled in the fall program, I noticed the dancers that were there, and I was like, okay, I want to try that. That's different. I've never seen that before.
Mhm.
I want to try that, you know. And so, a year later, my mom allowed me to switch my major to dance. And from there, it just became a part of who I was. The friendships that I cultivated, we stuck together. Like we did things outside of Freedom Theater. We ministered with each other. At the time, we didn't know it was ministry, but at the time, we would go to each other's churches and dance. We would go over each other's houses, and my house became the hub. Everybody, after Freedom Theater classes, will come down to North Philly and hang out.
We're not gonna talk about that. I don't know how many days I got up and was just stepping over bodies that you had brought home to but did that start fulfilling what you was missing inside to have this outlet that became a life thing
It
for you?
was it was purpose being ignited. It was a seed that was planted that I didn't even know was there, right? It was
Okay.
a spark. And when I saw it, I identified with it.
Okay.
It's like your kinfolk, right? You may not see them for a long time, but there's something in you that can resonate with that person or that thing that draws you. And that's what the arts did for me. And then the people there, the teachers there, it took me to a world that I didn't even know existed or that I wanted to be a part of.
So just to interject here, there is hope that we could say, even how you was raised or how people were raised, there is something that could come into a city or come over a region that is help.
Mhm.
Did it take or should it take someone to see, like your mom saw that you needed something?
Mhm.
Do you think that is still happening today that people actually could discern something that's going on in a person and say, here, let me help you. This, what you might not know what to do or might not even know what the problem is,
Mhm.
but back then there was care.
Mhm.
I'm not saying that it's not today because you're carrying on what you felt, but do you think that that's really still realistic today that people are discerning that you're the voice for the help for someone who is struggling?
I think it still is. I think there still is a generation who are selfless, and understand in order for them to proceed, in order for them to succeed, they need to be able to reach back and bring others, right? All of our succession and progression is intertwined with one another.
Mhm.
But only people who are unselfish will see that,
And you
right?
can't be
You
selfish.
can't be selfish. You can't be selfish. And you have to understand what the world needs outside of you, right? You are a person in the world, but you're not the world. It's not all about, what you want, your desires, your needs, but it's about how we as a whole, as a community, as a body of Christ, how we together make that
Okay. Speaking from our background,
happen.
so we was heavily into church. Um, what could you speak today as a little girl talking to someone that would say, "Well, you're in church, you should be okay." I don't even know why you had those problems. What what is that misconception that because you go to church or because you're a good family that you don't have issues? Like there's people in my generation really can't separate. Should have thought that we should have been better because we was going to church or because you come from a good home. Could you speak to that of it don't necessarily mean that you okay.
Yeah,
'Cause you know what I'm saying? Like just because I go to church or just because I come from a good home, whatever you consider a good home, doesn't mean that the world problems or things I skip over or
mhm.
don't come to me. You said I was misplaced, but you was in a good home. You was in church all the time. So what would you speak to that to tell people don't be fooled because of what you see?
Yeah, I understand. I think people, but like you said, people believe that because you are church, that you're in church, that make you righteous, right? You
Mhm.
are different,
Oh,
right? You're automatically whole. There's nothing wrong with you. No, he came for all of us. He came for the sinners. He came for the unbelievers. He came for all of our sins, all
mhm.
of our issues, all of our problems, right? The difference is when we come to believe him, then we believe in the hope of who he is and the hope that he can change us, right?
Mhm.
That just
It's not clear. It just- yeah. Okay.
um so no, he helps us through those issues. He knows who we are. He's real with us, right? That's I think that's the difference. Anybody have access, everybody have access.
Mhm.
And because I have Christ, it just gives me an opportunity to get through those issues differently than someone who don't.
But we are the vessels.
Hmm.
We are the people who help the next. So I can't say, well, Erica, because you was in church, you should know better.
Mm-mm.
So that means that I have to have discernment in Christ or have discernment of someone needs help because he uses us to do the help.
But
It-
in order for him to use us, we have to know him. And I think the difference is
that-
relationship and
that-
religion, right? Religion say you need to have it all together. You need to know these things, right? You need to be able to quote the scripture. You need to be able to walk like the Bible says. But relationship says, even if I mess up sometimes, he
Mhm.
still can use me. And he's still working these things out of me as I am using or reaching other people, right? The apostles, they were all, all with the disciples, they were different people from different areas of where he was, right? They did different things, they had different careers. He didn't call them because they were righteous. He called them because he knew that he could use them. They would submit themselves and humble themselves and allow him to be used, allow themselves to be used. So I think that's the difference. Relationship. If you know who Jesus Christ is and you're working to be more like him, then your humility will allow you to help other people versus your righteous indignation.
So coming up in your change after you got to Freedom Theater, what was your next step? How did you get to Morgan College? Did you always dream to go to college? Like, we are walking to somebody who don't have nothing in their mind of what they want to be, what they want to do. And some people say, because I'm from the inner city or because my mother don't have it or my father don't have this, I can't do this and that. You are a living testimony of this walk.
Mhm.
So what got you there? What's the next step after that? Did you choose that or
I did choose Morgan.
no, I'm
But
not talking about this college itself. Did you choose to go to college or why did you go into dance theater?
Morgan came about as I was matriculating through Freedom Theater,
Okay.
right? All of that kind of just came to be or was birthed out of that season of my life, right?
Okay.
I wanted to go to college. It was a thought before, but it became real when I saw other young people around me pushing for the same goals.
Okay.
That's how that came about. And I said, you know what? And I still wanted to pursue dance too. And
Mhm.
Morgan had a phenomenal dance program. So um, that's what brought me closer to that decision as far as the modern dance ensemble, the black dance line. They had all of those things that were a place where I wanted to continue to develop and grow in. So that's why I went to Morgan.
Okay. So I don't know if I asked you this already. Now, was your walk with Christ this strong then?
No.
Okay.
No.
It's hard for me to go back because I'm speaking to an Erica now that's into it, but I have to step back to say, because we're bringing somebody forward.
Hmm.
Right? So even in your walk that wasn't as strong with Christ, what did you have? What was it that kept you striving?
My
Was it
foundation,
okay?
you know, even though I dislike as much as we went to church, I think the structure as a kid helped me
Wait a minute, I never
foundationally.
knew that. You didn't like going to church?
No,
Oh, you never told me.
I didn't.
No.
No, I
Wait a
didn't.
minute.
As I got older, no. Middle
Oh, no.
school
Okay.
and those, no, I didn't. When I
All
was
this,
a kid, when I was a
what?
baby, when I was a
Oh,
kid.
yeah, you jumped around and you had a tambourine. Yeah. You had a tambourine. Oh, I didn't. See, this is something new to me because looking at you now, I would have thought that was always something that even though I know you with things that went on, but I thought that you really liked the church. So who out of your cousins and your sisters and who liked church? Did nobody? Or
I don't think any of us did.
is
And
it because we went so much, or did you didn't like church? What parts?
I
What you
think it
don't
was,
like?
yeah, it was just, it was excessive. And I think it just felt, again, I'm not knocking the structure, right? I
Yeah.
believe the structure is what gave us our foundation. But we were going to church all the time. Then the church came to our home. We had have church in the house. Then we had going to different churches with our parents. Like it was a lot. It was a lot, right? And we had to do it because that's what, our moms were doing. So we were there through it all. And we wanted to just be outside instead of being 22 in church. And it was embarrassing, right? Because we live in
Oh,
there.
yeah. And in
And
this church, you had because we had for someone who don't know, we came up with church in our home.
Mhm.
Like my mother actually turned her house into a church, and then your mom, when y'all was coming up, house
Yeah.
2 doors up the street turned into a church. So I think it was mainly your mom and grandma that was the church people.
Mhm.
I don't know what your Aunt Darlene stood. I was a straight up heathen. Okay, I just had structure, but it
Uh,
wasn't no. But so it was your mom mainly and Darlene or grandma.
at the time, well,
You
it kind of depends on the
this the
timing of what we're
timing.
talking about, right?
So when
Me,
y'all was with me, no church.
we wasn't. I don't think we were going to
Don't say that.
church.
Your mom came. So in order for you all to come to my house to hang with me, y'all could do all that for Sunday morning. We was going down that highway. She said they're gonna be in church. And you remember that day we left so late because she said it's on time. But that was another thing in our family. It wasn't just show up at church when you want to, how you want it. It was if you was coming, if it's 11 o'clock, you're gonna be there 5 minutes of 11
Mhm.
or 5 minutes to 12, whatever your time. So y'all done stayed up all night Saturday night watching TV and doing it. But y'all promised me y'all weren't gonna give me no problem that morning. And she had already gave me instructions. She wants y'all at church. And I went, y'all was up in Frankfurt area, Forestdale, uh, at that time going to another church, that church.
Mhm.
And trying to make it from, I think we was at Academy or off of I-95 and trying to make it to church. And I think we had 15 minutes. Whew. Right now, I told your mother I ain't scared of her no more. Man, the police pulled me over and said, ma'am, where are you going? With these kids flying like that. I said, ma'am, and I told the police that their mother said they had to be in church and the time.
What?
And that lady said, they'll get there, but you need to slow down. She didn't even give me a ticket because I said that.
Wow.
But that's how important that was to them. But I never heard you all voice it. Well, I know your brother and sister, but I never heard you. I didn't know. Because today, the life is totally about the relationship with God, not just going to church, not just doing something, but you actually have a relationship. So it didn't turn out all bad.
Right.
Because some people hate it and then don't want to even deal with it no more. But at that time, um, what changed or brought you to having a relationship with Christ? No, I'm being real because I'm talking to the Erica that I know all phases
Mhm.
of you. So I know the changes, but this is helping someone. Maybe it's something you don't like about something, a church or something. What can be a change to say, even though it was this rough or wasn't that great for me, but like you said, structure. But then I came to know Christ for myself.
Mhm.
I got a relationship to know that all the stuff or all those times we went to church maybe wasn't necessary, but it caused me to be here.
Mhm.
What was that for you? What was the change?
Um, two different situations that has happened. So the first thing I would say, yes, when you the word says train up a child in the way that they should go, and when they get older, they will never depart.
Mhm.
I hold strongly that scripture is so strong and so powerful because I was able to pull back in my Rolodex to pull out who God was to my mother and to my grandmother, what I saw, what I experienced. So when I fast forward to college, at this time I'm living with my boyfriend, I'm pledging Delta, I'm having a good time at college, right?
Wait a minute. You know how they put that finger? Here's the finger in church. Hold it. Let's walk. We gotta walk down the alphabet. After all that, you living with your boyfriend.
Mhm.
You pledging. What else?
Pledging Delta, I'm
You
drinking, I'm
drinking.
partying, I'm doing all of it, all of it. Yep, all of it.
No, it's life.
All the things.
All the things. It's just life. It's you know I'm just picking
Mhm,
with you, but it, this is what when you meet someone at each stage.
mhm,
That's why it's so important to treat people like Jesus met them.
mhm,
Wherever you meet them at, wherever don't say, well, you know better.
mhm,
You went to church all your life, or something. I'm at this point in my life right now.
mhm,
The only thing you need from me is love and continued prayer, whatever that is. Because you never know down the road with that person, or what you say, pull back your Rolodex. I still have it in me.
mhm,
Sometimes people have to go through life. Sometimes people fall in life,
mhm.
into life.
Yeah.
This is a, this is great. This is great because you're, like I said before, you're a living testimony of back forward, but you went through everything somebody else might think.
Mhm.
Not Erica. If they see you, they think, not Erica.
Yeah.
But it's okay because God, that's the truth, that's the grace and mercy.
Mhm,
And you can talk to someone about this is what I'm doing now,
mhm,
Erica. This is my life. I'm not looking at where you were. I got to treat you like a human being, treat you like God would see you,
mhm.
and bring you forward. So don't think I got off track. I had my finger up. I was waiting for it. No. But go ahead.
But
Had a boyfriend doing everything that you was told that was against how you was raised.
mhm,
Then let me ask you something in the meantime. So you lived with me for a while. You lived with your mom, your grandma. Even though you have a strong thank you, appreciation for what you did, but we always haven't lived before you the life either. Like some people want to, maybe like it was just the children
mhm.
acting up. Well, s- 16, 17, I'm not sure what your ages was. Y'all had your first drink with me, the wine cooler. So I remember a lot too. And what I'm saying, even as parents or adults or guardians, sometimes the life you choose to around the children, around people who you are helping,
Mhm,
it make you like if I knew better, would I would I what I know now, I probably would never have done some of the things around people.
mhm.
So this just giving a thought. Sometimes think about what I know you're grown. I was grown, but like really giving y'all wine cooler. We're gonna celebrate. We're gonna celebrate. I don't even know who birthday it was, but it was a shame, right? So did any of that register in your mind that we was with you all, or how our life was, or you just was on your own path?
At what point?
Like I live with someone too. Y'all live with me because you helped me pack his bags when I put them out.
Yeah.
See, I'm gonna tell you how you involve your children or how you involve kids. I was telling her, just talking to her yesterday, and she
Yesterday.
said, "I don't even remember that." I'm so glad she don't remember that because when you're doing things, you're not thinking.
Mhm.
I had someone living with me, but y'all was studying coming over and staying with me. So, what example was that? You probably didn't think of y'all was just
Yeah,
having
we
a
didn't
former
think
auntie.
about it. Yeah. We didn't think about it then, and I don't think that had any
Thank you,
bearing.
Jesus.
um, that didn't have any bearing on when I experienced living with someone. I think that was just what I wanted to do, and what I wanted to experience in college.
Okay.
Um,
So do you think about that now that you have a son?
do I think
Of
about
what your life around what you do around him? Do you think about it or you just go,
what you mean?
oh, you were saving when you let your son go?
I was.
Oh, okay. So you ain't do some thing that we did around your son like we was doing. No,
Well,
would you think of stuff that you do now because you have a son that you wouldn't do if you know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah,
I know what you mean. I know
yeah.
what you mean.
But some people they just live their life. They don't care if they have children and who's around them, who's looking. Like you can't just free willy when you have children.
Hmm.
There's a lot of kids. I love cursing. I don't curse, but I'm saying I used to love to hear people curse, but I heard a grown up do that. And it was just always fascinating to me. Why was they cursing around me?
Yeah.
So sometimes the things we do in front of children, we don't think, but
Hmm.
they are sponges.
They absorb.
They absorb a lot of things.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to, I want to apologize and ask for forgiveness if I did anything that make you went that way.
No.
Okay.
No, I just think it was my turn to have my own
Experience.
journey and
Okay.
experience
Mhm.
with getting back. Well, not necessarily getting back, but developing a relationship with the Lord. Because if
Okay.
it wasn't for my testimony, if it wasn't for the things that I experienced in college, I don't think I would be where I am now. Like
Okay.
every season of my life played a part in how I view God, how I see Him, and how I committed to my relationship with Him today. So
Okay.
I don't think that had any bearing on it.
Okay. 'Cause I was gonna get your mother.
No.
I was gonna blame it on her. It wasn't me. But okay. So two, I don't know what year it was. So when did you decide to get your own dance studio? I know we don't have a lot of time to talk
Mhm.
like it's years yet, but when did that happen? Because when I see you giving back and doing what you do, like I am so proud. I am a proud aunt. I really am. But when did that come about? Like to do what you're doing now?
Yeah, that's a a testimony in itself that I really want to take the time, maybe in another
Okay, we'll do another episode.
podcast, we can
Okay,
unravel that. But
okay,
yeah, after graduated from college and went to grad school, and I knew at that time that I wanted to teach dance. And
okay,
so at the time, I was just teaching at various different churches, and I think I did another program where I was subbing at different schools,
okay.
and I made a hard left transition into fitness. And so I was doing fitness for a while. I still love dance, but then
Mm.
I moved into, okay, this is
You ain't
something
even
else that
talking about
I
the fitness. Okay, all right,
that I got
yeah.
excited about. So I said, well, I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. It was dormant, but I remember younger, when I was little, I used to help Uncle Derek with Boots on event planning.
Mm-hmm.
I always had that mindset of doing
Yes.
or running my own business. So when I graduated from college, moved on, building my life, I said, well, let me start a fitness program.
Mhm.
And so I started a fitness program with adults. And then one of my parents came and said, you know what? I think you will be good with kids. And she was actually a member of my church. At the time, I was teaching the dance ministry for the kids there.
Okay.
So her and we connected through the church, and she was in my fitness program. I said, well, I never really thought about the kids, but maybe I could do a youth program for them just doing fitness. So I got a group of girls together, my close friends, and we had a conversation about it. We came up with the name, and we said we're going to launch this fitness performing arts program for you. But we were at the time we were renting. We said we're just going to grab a building, find some space, rent it, and that's what we did. I prayed about it, and I said, well, should it just be fitness, right? I said, what actually got me to this place? Like, how did I even get to Morgan? And then that took me back to my Freedom Theater days.
Okay.
And so I said, I think I want to merge the two. I want to give them impart fitness in the business, but also bring in the performing arts program because I know what it can do for kids, right? And so we did that 2018, and then from there,
But I'm gonna save that. You prompt. See, you just said again. I prayed about it
mhm.
on something else. How long did that answer come back? Because if you're gonna do a part two with me, is
Yes.
is that another prayer?
That's no, we
Oh,
God
okay.
answered my prayer
Oh,
already.
okay. But I know you got to go get your son, so we're gonna wrap this. Yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. But if you can leave any message, thought, someone who have a dream, someone who have a passion, anything that you can say to encourage someone who don't see it. I mean, literally don't see it. What is Erica, the little girl, gonna say, and then what Erica, the artist, gonna say? See what I said? Artist.
um, the little girl Erica would say, "Hope is coming. A brighter day is coming." Um, the Erica artists, they committed to your process because it will yield you a return in the end if you stay persistent. If you stay, uh, if you stay persistent and committed to your dream, your resources will come, but it'll come at the magnitude of your faith and your willingness to stay with it.
So let me say this in closing to you. So, Auntie always talking about doing something, and I think y'all heard me for most of y'all life, right?
Mhm.
But 2024 in December, I came and sat on this same couch
Mm.
with my little book that had nothing in it. But I told you, I said, this year, 2025, I'm going for it. And I personally want to thank you because after that meeting, that was on December the 29th, I launched this podcast.
Yes.
So, as a grown person, it don't always have to be a kid
Mhm.
because some grown adults still have dreams and visions that never materialized
Mhm.
or didn't get the help or didn't have what it takes. But it just takes one person,
Mhm.
sometimes at the right time.
Mhm.
I heard y'all pushed me all my life and told me things all my life, but it took 50 something years. No, seriously. Sometimes people have a timing on stuff, but you never know
Mhm.
um, when that time is. Be consistent. Be diligent to it. I thank God for family.
Yeah.
And you were saying about Uncle Derek. I pass out those flyers that, he did y'all trips at
Mhm.
y'all school. So everybody in the family played a part in depositing. My dad, my mom, your mom, it was always there.
Yeah.
But sometimes it takes you to keep on going. The vision is for a point in time. It's not when you write it.
Mhm.
So don't give up. So
Yeah.
I just want to personally thank you and for you to be sitting here on the same couch with me with all this stuff that I done hooked up. I don't even know where it's going. That's all right. But she's a fitness, y'all. This is Erica Wright out of Baltimore via Philly. But she got me with my lunch today is
Lemon ginger.
lemon ginger. I'm trying. I'm still on the fitness. I ain't even gonna put that sandwich up there, Sheikah, but this is ridiculous. But Erica, thank you, man. And you go get that little one. We're gonna have her son on one of these days. I don't know what subject gonna be because we probably just go outside, just let him have a whole conversation with him and his Gigi. But until next time, thank you so much. And I'll see some of you tomorrow. Judge Barron will be back tomorrow, and I got a few questions to ask her, things that she had done to her children. Talk to you tomorrow. God bless.
Wait, but we
Oh,
didn't make mention. Today is her
oh,
birthday.
you did it on my birthday. God
Woo,
pray,
woo,
God,
woo.
God answered her on my birthday. This is a real birthday present. She
Oh.
kept on asking me, "What do I want?" I said, "Nothing. I'll be down here for a little while," but she didn't know I had all this stuff packed up in the car. I was gonna get that interview today. God answered my prayer. Y'all, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. Thank you so much.